Record my stuff. Saying a lot of people during this pandemic are just realizing who their spouses are or who their spouses are not. Because having been forced to stay together for all this time in the home during this pandemic is making people come to the realization of who they're married to. I think a lot of times what happens is business and the fast-paced life and the outside world makes people forget and lose sight of who the inside people are. They forget who those people are that are in their own home because they're so busy trying to get to the outside world. They're so busy trying to get to work. They're so busy trying to get to events. They're so busy trying to get outside. And I think the pandemic has forced people to stay inside in an effort to try and get them to get to the inside people. The inside people are their husband, their children, their wives, their family. They're the important people. It's forced them to stay inside and get some knowledge of who these people are. And I think once they've done that, some people have been happy to find out who these people are, their husband, their wife, their children, and they're happy with it. And some people, it's been an unhappy experience for them because now they're not happy with who they found out they're with. Yeah. Because who they found out they're with is not who they thought they were with. You know, they've kind of experienced now that it's not who they thought they were. They realize that their husband or their wives, you know, do this or do that. And you know, and they never experienced that before because they never took the time to spend the time. And now that they are spending the time, they're not understanding them because they didn't take the time to learn them from the start. I think that's where with you and I, we spend so much time together because we work together, we play together, we eat dinner together, breakfast, lunch, dinner together. Everything we do is together. And I think our relationship is reversed. When you leave and go to the outside world, I don't know how to function in the inside world because you're not here. Yes. You know, but a lot of people, they are so used to going to the outside world. When it's time for them to come to the inside world, they don't know how to function because they're so used to being on the outside world. So I think with this whole pandemic, what we should all learn, especially married couples, and this has taken a big effect on children as well, you know, but as far as a lot of couples I'm hearing now that they're saying their relationships and their marriage now because of the pandemic, that some people are even saying they're going through divorce after this pandemic has happened. And I think that's because they've gotten so comfortable and used to the outside world that they've lost focus and don't know how to handle the inside world. And I think that's sad because the inside world, when I say inside world, I'm meaning the household. The inside world is supposed to be primary. That's the world you're supposed to always be able to handle. The outside world is the situation where you're supposed to have difficulties if you have difficulties. But it's sad to say that a lot of these people have grown so accustomed to this outside world that they've allowed themselves to learn so much about that outside world that is taken away from them learning from the inside world. And now they're allowing themselves to destroy their inside world because they're so focused on trying to get back to that outside world. They're losing their families because they're so focused on trying to get back to the outside world instead of taking this time to say, listen, I need to readjust, get things straightened out and find out that what's more important. What's more important, I think the pandemic has taught us what's more important is family, spending time with family. You have to let go of work, outside activities, everything that draws you away from the family. The pandemic has taught us we have to let it go and learn to draw ourselves to our families. But a lot of people were so stuck with that outside mentality that when this pandemic came and we were all now locked in with each other, they couldn't handle it. And you know why they couldn't handle it? Because they never made it focus and focus number one. They never made the inside world their first focus. And so when it became a priority and a demand for them to do it, now they had a hard time doing it, and a lot of them failed at it. Some of them they did adjust and they passed. And they now realize my main focus should always have been my inside family, my inside world, not the outside world. But unfortunately, some of them didn't. So I pray that a lot of people now will come to the realization before it's too late, save the marriage, save the kids, save the relationships, and get this thing on a track of, I believe the pandemic was to build better relationships within marriages, within homes, within families. And I pray that everybody does that before it's too late.